In today's video, we are talking about the 4 steps to create $1 million. If you want to hit that 7-figure mark, then today's video is for you. I am Tiffany Thomas, your wealth mentor. I achieved financial freedom in my 30s and became a millionaire at 40. I'm here to help you do that even earlier and easier and without bias, since I do not work for any third parties. In order to incorporate these steps better, I want to share this experience with you. When I was growing up, we always had a garden. My parents planted vegetables and they planted fruit trees, and I loved having fresh fruit and fresh vegetables. So they had to decide what they wanted to plant, right? They decided to plant an apple tree, a peach tree, a cherry tree, an apricot tree, and I feel like I'm missing one, a plum tree. That's right. So those are the trees they decided to plant. And then they also decided which vegetables to plant in their garden. So usually we had tomatoes for sure, and we had peas, and they would do squash and cucumbers and pumpkins, and I'm sure a few other things. But it was so nice to have this fresh fruit and these fresh vegetables growing up. And then they would also harvest them. So, we also had grapevines. So they would definitely pick all of the grapes. I would help pick the grapes as well. And then we would bottle them and create grape juice. And then we would also bottle our peaches that we had, and so that it would last for a really long time. So we would have fresh peaches that were bottled, and we could have that during the winter time and then also next year. And it was just nice to have all of that food on hand, or the juice, the drinks on hand as well. And what they did was, when they had planted the trees and the vegetables, of course, they watered them, and if they needed extra attention, then they would add now I forgot what it's called, but anyway, what you mix in with the soil to give it a little love and produce better vegetables. So they would take care of their trees and their vegetables so that they would grow even better fruit or better tomatoes, whatever it was, right? And then they had these trees for years and years. So every year we would collect fruit off of these trees. And they really made that a priority for us. And I want to switch this now and turn it over to how we can relate this to creating our own $1 million. The first thing that we need to do is choose the investments we want to make. How do we want to create this $1 million, right? Like my parents chose which trees to plant. They made that decision. And so we need to decide which investments we want to make. I personally like investing in the stock market and in real estate. Those have been very successful for me, and that is what I have chosen to invest in. And then the second thing, once we make that decision, then we need to actually start investing in those items, right? My parents didn't just buy the vegetable seeds and then never plant them. They actually planted them. So we actually need to make the investments once we decide what we want to be investing in. And then the third item that we need to do is, once we start investing, we need to continue investing. We need to continue to build up that wealth. When I bought my very first property, I had roommates and they were helping to pay my mortgage. And then when I bought my second property, I bought that strictly as a rental property and put renters in there. So I didn't just buy one property and then stop there. I added to it. And then I ended up purchasing 2 more properties later on. But nonetheless, I continued to invest my money in real estate because that's what was working for me. And then also I invested in the stock market. I bought my very first stock and I was super nervous to do that. But after I bought that first stock, I changed my investing strategy and was more comfortable with investing. So I continued to invest in more and more stocks, and then even in funds as well. So I didn't just stop with my first stock and think, okay, that's good enough, and then not continue to invest in the stock market. I thought, okay, I know that I can invest more money in the stock market to make more money, to have that grow exponentially over time. And that is exactly what happened. And this is not a smooth ride. The stock market does go up and down, but that long-term trend will go up. So that is where we need to keep our focus, is on the long term. After we have added to our investments and kept that long-term mindset, then the fourth item is that we can reap the harvest. We can enjoy the fruits of our labors. And I feel like this is an important part. We don't want to just continue to invest and never do anything fun. Of course, there has to be a balance between spending our money and investing our money. But nonetheless, once we have created our wealth, the way I like to look at this is when we are buying assets, we can buy an asset and then we can buy a liability with that asset if we wanted to. For example, if we are investing in a rental property and creating cash flow every single month because we are collecting a rent check every single month, then that cash flow could pay for a car that we want to purchase, right? So we can also spend our money on things that are going to bring us joy, bring us happiness. And that is how I like to look at this, right? We need to pick where we want to be investing, start investing our money, and then continue to add to those investments. And then we can reap the harvest. We can enjoy what we have done. And that is exactly what we did with the garden and the fruit trees that we had at my parents' house. We were able to enjoy that fresh fruit and make shakes or pies, or just eat the fruit alone and enjoy that. And it made for really nice meals or desserts, depending on the fruits or vegetables that we were eating. And we can look at that with our investments. We are able to take these small steps along the way and watch our investments grow over time. Right? My parents watched those trees grow over time and produce that amazing fruit. So that is what we can do. Those are the steps we can take to create $1 million. And just as a side note, my favorite fruit tree growing up was the peach tree. I absolutely love fresh peaches. They are so delicious. And then my favorite vegetable that we planted was tomatoes. And I know technically it's a fruit, but I feel like it's more in the vegetable category. So tomatoes were my favorite. Comment below and tell me what your favorite fruit or vegetable is. I'm curious to know. And if you do want help investing your money, click the link below in the description and you can get the details on how you can work with me. And if you want more videos like this, make sure and hit that subscribe button.